ओम वक्रतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां ऋषये भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतो वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। साक्षात् कृतं दयानन्दं परमार्थस्वरूपिणं तत्त्वज्ञानप्रशास्तारं प्रणतोऽस्मि परं पदम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। अखण्डं सच्चिदानन्दं अवां मनसगोचरम्
अखण्डं सच्चिदानन्दम् अवाङ्मनसगोचरम्
आत्मानमखिलाधारम् आश्रये भीष्टसिद्धये।
आत्मानमखिलाधारम् आश्रये भीष्टसिद्धये।
अर्थतोऽप्यद्वयानन्दानतीतद्वैतभानतः
अर्थतोऽप्यद्वयानन्दानतीतद्वैतभानतः
गुरूणाराध्य वेदान्तसारं वक्ष्ये यथामति।
गुरूणाराध्य वेदान्तसारं वक्ष्ये यथामति।
We will read this passage. अपरः बौद्धः
अपरः बौद्धः
असद्येव इदमग्रे आसीत्
असद्येव इदमग्रे आसीत्
इत्यादि
इत्यादिश्रुतेः
सुषुप्तौ सर्व अभावात्
सुषुप्तौ सर्वभावात्
अहं सुषुप्तौ नासम्
aham susuptau nasam
iti uttitasya
iti uttitasya
स्व अभाव परामर्श विषय अनुभवाच्च
swa abhava paramarsha vishaya anubhavascha
शून्यम् आत्मा इति वदति.
shunyam atma iti vadati.
Up to this passage, all the contentions are over. The last one being the review of Bauddha, Shunyavadi. The last class we saw there are two types of jnanam, samanya jnanam, vishesha jnanam. Vishesha jnanam implies the application of the mind and sense organs to qualify jnanam. That is qualified consciousness, qualified knowledge. Any knowledge is qualified by the object of knowledge. What knowledge? Cloth knowledge. Instead of using the word knowledge, we use the word consciousness. Both mean same. That is Swarupaha, Chaitanya. What consciousness, cloth consciousness, ityadi. But what about Samanya Jnanam? Samanya Jnanam is, it is unqualified knowledge, unqualified consciousness. Consciousness which is not conditioned by the any upadhi or upadhi. The upadhi, for the example, the mind or the object of knowledge, not conditioned by the thoughts of the mind or not conditioned by the knowledge of the object. So it is just consciousness. It is not qualified by objects, qualified by names or forms, which reflect in the antakaranam, the mind. But if you ask whether this Samanya Jnanam, Chaitanyam as it is there, Buddha says no, Shunyameva Asit. Because he says in Sushupti, I am not there. There is nothingness. Aham Nasam, but that is not the Anubhava. I don't know anything. I don't know anything, therefore the person says, I was not there. I was not there, he knows means he is there as a witness, Sakshi Chaitanya. But there are no objects qualified by, there is no knowledge qualified by any object. There is no conscious, there is no Chaitanyam. Chaitanyam remains as it is. It is unqualified by objects, unqualified by Namarupa. Therefore, that's what there appears a blankness because of the absence of the objects of knowledge. The mind being not there, therefore, there's a perception of nothing, there's perception of blankness. Because the perception is there, therefore, it implies there must be a perceiver, as we saw the Panchadashi yesterday. Nirmanaska Sakshitva, Sakshi Chaitanyam, Asti Eva. Even for that, to observe the blankness, there must be a witnesser. There must be a witness. So that witness, who cannot be witnessed by another witness. That's what we call consciousness as such, not qualified, not limited. Qualified means limited, not limited by any upadhi, not limited by thoughts, not limited by any object of knowledge, not limited by Nama Rupa, not limited by the Jagat. It is as it is, Shuddha Chaitanyam, unqualified, Samanya Jnanam. Samanya Jnanam is Jnana Surupam, it is Nipti, Niptihi, Shuddha Chaitanyam, Asit. But alone is there. In the Jagrata Avastha, in the Swapna Avastha, since there are objects, sense objects, and the sense organs interact with the sense object, therefore the consciousness seems to be conditioned. Consciousness cannot be conditioned. Seems to be conditioned, apparent conditioning. That is not there in Sushupti Avastha, therefore Bauddha says it is Shunyam. Shunyasyapi drashta asti eva. Saptajideshikara says. Cannot say Shunya Buddhehe Varjanat, na Shunyatvam. Even the Shunya Buddhi, the Vritti, there is a perception. Asad Buddhi cannot be perceived. Sad Buddhi cannot be perceived. Sad Buddhi cannot be perceived because Sad Buddhi, Sad Vritti, it is not in real in the form of Vritti. Sat is not in the form of a Vritti. Shunya is a Vritti. The object of knowledge is in the form of a Vritti. All these are Vritti Jnanam. But Sat is not in the form of Vritti because it is the Swarupa. It is not qualified by Vritti. Vritti implies that there is Chaitanya. Vritti conditions the Chaitanya. That's what we see. Qualified knowledge, qualified consciousness. All our knowledge, the knowledge, what we gain and what we apply, the Vivahara is all qualified knowledge, qualified consciousness, Vishesha Jnanam. But Samanyataha, the consciousness as such, it's in the Sushupti Avastha, it is close. It is closest, but it is not the final. Because there is a perception of blankness, Shunya Vritti. But Shunya Vritti also Vritti. But Sat is not a Vritti. It cannot be objectified. That is why it is, we say it is the witness. It cannot be witnessed by another witness. The witness who cannot be witnessed. The one who is the knower of everything, but he cannot be known. In fact, he is not even the knower also. He is everything. With regard to particular action, we say he is a knower. With regard to particular knowledge, we say he is a knower. With regard to particular action, we say he is a doer. With regard to particular anubhava, we say he is a enjoyer. All here is he, but he is not any of them. Atma, Chaitanyam. So that is mistaken to be Shunyam. That's a Shunyam Atma. This was the last contention. All the contentions were presented. Contentions, otherwise we can call these are all Adhyaropa. All these ideas are superimposed on the Atma. Various opinions of the various philosophies, starting from the Ati Prakritaha, extremely deluded, up to the Bauddha. Up to Bauddha, there are about nine sets of people. They present their idea of Atma. But their idea is incomplete and it is not correct. It is wrong because there are because there are mistake, because their views are with mistake. It is not mistake-free views. So already error is there. Over the error, another error. So the fundamental error is Atma is taken to be Anatma. That is fundamental error. But the same error they continue. Their view, if it is correct, it must give moksha, but it doesn't. I continue to be the same samsari. It doesn't release me from samsara. So therefore, and also they, even though they give Shruti, Yukti, and Anubhava, all these are fallacious. They are not correct. So the support, even though they give from Shruti, and they give reason also, Yukti, but all these Yukti are with faulty Yukti and faulty Anubhava, and Anubhava is wrongly quoted, not interpreted properly. All these things we are going to say and dismiss these contentions. So step by step, the author presented all the contentions in order to not just mention them and refute these views. There is an intention, there is a teaching involved. See, our tradition is a teaching tradition. The teaching, systematic teaching. Since teaching is involved, it's not preaching, not just we say Atma is Satyam, so Atma is final. No. We have to we have to teach the Shishya, the student, from where they, from the opinion what they have, from the concept of oneself what they have. From that we have to progress. From the concept what they have, what the teaching has to be slowly built upon that and make the person see that their vision is wrong. So that is the idea. So that is why this is presented. So the ultimate goal is to release the student from the notions, all these notions. So that is why the teaching sequentially eliminates the various notions about the Atma, starting from Atma being the sun, Atma being the sun, then body, then mind, etc. So there is a teaching involved. So therefore, it is not just to present and dismiss. There is a slow progression on the part of the student to move from one notion to another notion. So it's a growth. The student also must get convinced when he moves from one notion to another notion. The successive notion dismisses the earlier notion. In this way, the teaching is sequentially presented and various notions are removed, ultimately revealing that Atma is Ananda Swarupaha. So, when each of the earlier statements is either dismissed or falsified, then the notion corresponding to that also stands dismissed. So therefore, when the notion gets dismissed, there is a knowledge happening that the temporary knowledge, temporary right knowledge, because of the successive notion. The temporary knowledge gained because of the successive notion dismisses the wrong knowledge due to the wrong notion. So therefore, there is a teaching involved. So that is the prakriya. That is the prakriya. Even the Upanishad handles the Taittiriya Upanishad. So the same thing here the author has done. beautifully presenting both the Astikavada and as well as Astikavada. Even though not all the Vadas are presented, but other Vadas are also included in these Vadas. There are 12 Vadas, 12 schools. Among them 6 Astika, 6 Nastika. All of them can be accommodated in these views. So having presented this now, only the opinions, the views are presented. It is, even though the successive opinion dismisses the previous opinion, it is not enough that we have to dismiss each opinion by appropriate Shruti, Vakya, Yukti, as well as Anubhava, and finally dismissing the final one. That final the notion, that opinion, Bauddha, if we dismiss them, it is enough. Because it is he who dismisses the previous one dismisses the previous one. So therefore, if we dismiss the final one, Bauddha, therefore it implies that all other views are dismissed. It amounts to all other views are dismissed. But the author will show the fallacy of each views is going to present. That is, these are the views the views of these people. Whatever they presented, that it is not Atma. Then what is that? It is Anatma. It is Anatma eva, na Atma. Putraha Atma iti vada. Putra is Anatma. For the person who considers the son as his Atma, the son is Anatma. Son as such, for him, the son, for the son, he is Atma, that is different. But the one who considers son as Atma, the son is Anatma eva. So starts from Putra Atmavada up to Shunya Atmavada, Shunyavada. All these are Anatma eva. All these are Anatma. So Anatmatvam Uchyate. So all these are Anatma. That is not Atma, not self. But that is what the author he says, and then later it's going to prove it by, establish it by Shruti, Yukti, and Anubhava. Let us read the passage number 132. एतेषां पुत्रादीनाम्
एतेषां पुत्रादीनाम्
अनात्मत्वम् उच्यते
अनात्मत्वमुच्यते
एतेषां referring to the views of the different schools, which includes both Astika and Nastika, different opinions of different schools of philosophy. So Yetesham, so of all these views, Putra Adinam, beginning with Putra, Ati Prakrutaha, Mudaha, Varim Putraha Atma, Ati Prakrutaha Mudaha Putram Atmanam Manyate. So starting from him, Putradina, and Shunya, Atma Shunyamiti Vada Tatparyantam, so up to Shunya Vada. That is Etesham Putradina, Anatmatvam Uchyate, just one sentence. All these are Anat. All these are Anatma, Anatmatvam. That is what they claim to be Atma is not Atma, it is Anatma. So they talk about only Anatma, they have never presented what Atma as such. Because whatever they have presented, by simple logic, we can say here, these are not Anatma. How? Because it is available for our Anubhava. It means they are all objects. Sun is an object. available for our experience, available for our knowledge and our experience. Similarly, Deha, Indriya, everything, Jnanamaya Kosha, Anandamaya Kosha, all these are objects of knowledge, objects of our experience. Because they are objects of experience, therefore they must be anatma. Because atma cannot be objectified. Nirmanaska sakshitvat cannot be objectified. It's a beautiful phrase, nirmanaska sakshitvat. So it cannot be objectified. It is a sakshi chaitanya. It is a sakshi. So how can that be objectified? So it cannot be objectified. Atma cannot be objectified. Therefore, the views of all these people are nothing but anatmaya, anatmatvam, anatmatvam uchyate, na atma anatma. Tasya bhavaha anatmatvam. They are not atma. Putradinam, adi padat. Putradinam, adi, starting from putra, etc. up to Bauddha, shunya paryantam. Putradinam, shunya paryantam, anatmatvam uchyate. So starting from the person who takes the sun to be the Atma up to the Shunya, for him Atma is non-existence, Atma non-existence, Shunya. Asadeva idam agraha asit. Not understanding the context and translating, understanding the word asat as non-existence. So Atma is non-existent. Non-existence up to that. All these are anatma. How do you say it is anatma? We cannot just say, simply say anatmatvam uchyate. All these are anatma. You have to prove it. You have to prove all these are anatma. That's what the author is going to do. Now, this is a pratignya, vakya, declaration. Then after that, he is going to present. How it is going to present, how this can be defeated. Let us read the next passage, 133. Etaihi
तैः
ati prakrtadivaadibihi
अति प्राकृतादिवादिभिः
ukteshu
उक्तेषु
shruti yukti anubhava abhaseshu
श्रुतियुक्त अनुभव आभासेषु
पूर्व पूर्व उक्त श्रुति अनुभव आभासानाम
पूर्व पूर्व उक्ति श्रुति युक्त अनुभवाभासानाम्
अनुभव आभासानाम उत्तर उत्तर श्रुति युक्ति अनुभव आभासैहि
उत्तरुक्ति श्रुति
युक्ति अनुभव
अनुभव
आभासैहि
आभासैः
आत्मत्वबाध दर्शनात्
आत्मत्वबाधन दर्शनात्
बाध दर्शनात् पुत्रादीनाम्
पुत्रादीनाम्
अनात्मत्वम्
अनात्मत्वं
स्पष्टम् एव
स्पष्टम् एव.
This is a good test to read this fluently. Etehi atiprakrtavadibihi, you have to split to understand the word. Then arrange it properly. Anvaya. That's called Anvaya. Then understand the meaning. Atiprakrtavadibihi ukteshu shruti yukti anubhava abhaseshu. Abhasa means semblance. Abhasa means wrong, not true. Fallacious. पूर्वोक्त श्रुति युक्ति अनवभासानां उत्तरोत्तर श्रुति युक्ति अनुभव भासैः आत्मभाद आत्मत्वभाद दर्शनात् पुत्रादीनाम् अनात्मत्वं स्पष्टमेव. The author here says it is spashtam. I don't need to prove that these contentions are false. What is present is all these are that their view is wrong because all these are anatma only. Whatever the views they have regard to atma, it is not atma, it is anatma only. Anatmatvam spashtam eva. But author is not going to stop with that, is going to prove in the next one, 134. So here he says spashtam. Katam spashtam, if you ask. That is what the lines. You have to understand the passage. See, in the Mandukya Karika, Gaudapada Acharya says, these groups of people, these different schools of philosophies, they contradict each other. So, they contradict each other, therefore, they dismiss each other. Each school of philosophy dismiss everyone else's opinion, and therefore, finally, nobody is left out. So, therefore, each successive one offer their arguments, and it is based on Shruti, Yukti, and Anubhava, and dismiss the previous one. Whereas Vedanti doesn't do anything, just simply watches. It doesn't contradict anyone. Then the final one is that whatever is contention, who has dismissed all the other contention, if we dismiss them, then all other contentions stand dismissed. The beauty here is each school, each opinion has support from the Shruti. It's not that the Shruti support is enough. Shruti support alone is not sufficient. That Shruti must be, the Vakya, the Shruti statement must be supported by a logic. That logic should be in keeping with the Shruti. Shruti mata tarkona sandhiyata. And also the reasoning, logic, yukti, and also anubhava. It should not be contradicting the anubhava. So therefore, anubhava also is important. That's why Shruti, Yukti, Anubhava. Three things are important for every contention. So the idea is with these three, the different schools can explain the purpose of life, the goal of life, the purushartha, and that must be whatever their contention. It must be consistent with the experience of the people. So therefore, they quote from the Upanishad, Shruti, because it is the final authority, and Yukti and Anubhava, all the three. But the thing is, in the Shruti, there are statements which are there in different context. So understanding the context, the Shruti should be, the Shruti Vakya should be quoted. One cannot quote to convenience from anywhere from the Shruti. Understanding the context is important, and all supported by reason, and of course Anubhava. The views have to be presented. But here the views, whatever the views are presented, they are abhasa. Shruti Vakya, that is abhasa. Yukti is also abhasa. Anubhava is also abhasa. You may ask, they quoted from only from the Upanishad. Yes, they quoted only from the Upanishad, but that quotation, whatever they quoted, that doesn't reflect the tatparya of the shastram. That is not the tatparya. What is the tatparya of the shastram? Arriving at the tatparya, ascertaining the tatparya of the shastram, and that is, and keeping that in mind, the Vakya, Shruti Vakya have to be quoted. What is the Tatparya of the Shastram? Tatparya Nirnaya. It's very important. So if we have the right conclusion with regard to the Tatparya of the Shastram, then all the Shastram will converge at the Tatparya. In fact, there is a Sutram, Tattva Samanvayat. Not that each Upanishad presents different ideas about Atma. Vyasacharya, this Brahma Sutra is one of the important sutra in the Chatussutri, first four sutra comes Tattva Samanvayat. All the Shastra, they uniformly present their teaching, the ultimate teaching, that is Atma Brahma iti, Tattva Samanvayat. So it is not the Upanishads contradict each other, even though there may be seeming contradiction, but it has to be reconciled. That is the job. That involves the huge task of samanvaya. So arriving at the tatparya. That is why we have the tools to arrive at tatparya. Shadlinga, for example, Shadlinga, sixfold the condition, the criteria based on which we arrive at the tatparya of the Shastram, Upanishad. Upakramopasamharaha, Abhyaso Purvatapalam, Arthavadopapattischa, Lingam Tatparya Nirnaye. So Lingam Tatparya Nirnaye, the method to arrive at Tatparya, that's a method. This Shadlinga is one method. Shadlinga Upakrama Upasamhara. Upakrama is introduction. In fact, this is going to be quoted by the author later. Upakrama introduction. What is introduced? First, the introduction is made. At the end, it is concluded. Same topic is elaborated in the middle and it is concluded at the end. Therefore, Upakrama and Upasamhara. What is introduced in the beginning and what is concluded? There should be relevance. It should not be irrelevant. Then Abhyasa. Abhyasa is repetition. There is a recurrence. Then Apurvata. Apurvata is Shastram being a Pramanam. So, therefore, that which is not covered by other means a Pramanam. Therefore, that the Shastra presents. Therefore, Apurvata, the Shastram as a unique, as a uniqueness in giving the knowledge which is not available for other means of knowledge. So, therefore, that is the Apurvata. What Shastram presents is not available for Pratyaksha the Pramana. Therefore, it is Apurvata. It's only gainable, it's only available for Shruti. Therefore, Apurvata. Then the Phalam. Phalam is the result. It should be meaningful. What the Shruti conveys as a Pramanam, it should be meaningful and it should give the result. Then Arthavada. Arthavada is praise. Praising, not only praising, it is to refute the opposing ideas. Arthavada. Then Upapatti. Upapatti is logical reasoning. You have to substantiate by providing logic. So either these six indicators, these six lingas, these six conditions should be present, or either one or more of the six conditions to be present to arrive at the tatparya of the shastra. So the first shastra is discussed based on the sixfold criteria, and the tatparya of the shastra is arrived. So this is Tatparya Nirnaya. Therefore, the Tatparyam of the Shastra should be ascertained very clearly. Without that, straight quotations from the Upanishad cannot lead to any strong conclusion. It will be abhasa only. It will be wrong conclusions, fallacious conclusions. Another method to arrive at the Tatparya is, in the Shastra always we will have Purva Para Sambandha. If not there, if it will be there, if not there, that's why Bhashyakara, the Bhashyam we have seen, always gives connection between the shlokas, connection between the mantras. Purva Para Sambandha. That is, this Purva Para Sambandha. If not there, we have to analyze. Bhashyakara helps us by providing Purva Para Sambandha. If not there, a statement should be analyzed with regard to what has gone before and what's going to come. It should not be a disconnect, because what is said, what is said before, it has a bearing on what is said now, and it is going to have impact on what is going to be said later. Therefore, Purva Para Sambandha. So therefore, the Tatparya of the Shastra can be known only through Purva Para Sambandha. And this Shadlinga. So all these are helpful in arriving at the Tatparya of the Shastra. So Lingam Tatparya Nirnaya. So when the statements, for example, is made that Atma is the Shariram. Atma is Shariram. If Atma is Shariram, if Upanishad introduces Atma is a Shariram, Atma is a Shariram, Taittiriya Upanishad, in fact, it begins with saying this Shariram is Atma, Annarasamayaha, Purushaha, Annarasamayaha. That is the introduction. That is how the Upanishad starts. The Taittiriya Upanishad, in the Annam Brahmeti, the Tritiya, the Bhrigavalli, Annam Brahmeti Gajanat. Everything else, Annam is Brahma. This is from the Taittiriya Upanishad. And in the text, the author, he quoted, Purusho vai Purushaha Annarasamayaha iti. Sava Yesha Purushaha Annarasamaya. That is also from Taittiriya. That is from the second Valli. Sava Yesha Purushonnarasamaya. That is from the second Valli, Brahmananda Valli. Annadvai Prajayante Yakashcha Prativi Vishrataha. So everything has come from Annam. Then what about this? It's Purusha. Annad Purushaha Savahesha Purusho Narasamayaha. From the beginning itself, the Upanishad says, when the Panchabhutas Srishti is talked about, Adhyaha Prithvi Prithivya Oshadayaha Oshadibhyonnam Annad Purushaha Savagesha Purusho Narasamayaha. That is, if you take that statement, then all other statements stands defeated, because if Purusha is Annarasamayaha, if Purusha is the Shariram, then what about the other statements? Savagesha Purusha Vida Eva, Savagesha Purusha Vida Eva. That is the Prano hi Bhutana Mayuhu Tasma Sarvayusha Muchatakiti Tasyeisha Eva Sharira Atma Yaf Purvasya Tasmadva Hetasmaat Pranamayat. So Pranamayat. So in the beginning it said it is Sabha Yesha Purushaha Annarasamayaha. Now it becomes Pranamayaha. But doesn't stop there. Then it says, Anyontara Atma Manomayaha Sava Yesha Purusha Vidayeva. So it is again it says it is doesn't stop with that. Then it is Manomayaha, then Vijnanamayaha, then Anandamayaha iti. Therefore, in the second chapter of the Taittiriya, the third chapter, Annam Brahmeti Vajanat, beginning with Annam. Then Prano Brahmeti Vajanat, it doesn't maintain the same thing. First he said Annam, then after analyzing Annam cannot be Brahma, then one level up Pranaha Brahma iti, but that is not the conclusion. The teacher told the student Pranaha, first he told Annam Brahma. The student went back and did Vichara, came back not satisfied with the idea that Annam Brahma. Then the teacher understood that the student has done inquiry, therefore he says Pranaha Brahma. Then the student returned with the idea that Prana is Brahma. That also is not convinced. Then again he comes, then the teacher says Mano Brahmeti Vajanat, Vijnanam Brahmeti Vajanat, Anando Brahmeti Vajanat. So every time the student comes, the teacher says something different. So we cannot take Annam Brahma, this body is Atma. We cannot take and maintain the same, because if that is Upakarma, the Samhara also has to be Annam Brahma, but Samhara is not Annam Brahma. Vijnanam Brahma, Anandamaya Brahma, Atma Brahma iti. So therefore, the Taittiriya Upanishad begins with saying Atma is Annarasamayaha. Annarasamaya means it is made of Annam. Then he says Anyontara Atma. Anyaha Antaha Atma Pranamayaha. It means this Upanishad itself refutes the earlier statement. It means here the teaching is involved. The Upanishad, they say the Upanishad doesn't declare the truth like that, because it is a teaching tradition. Therefore, it teaches unfold. It's called unfoldment. Unfoldment of the truth. The truth has to be unfolded. The truth is not just declared like that, because the student has to use their buddhi and get convinced and should get rid of all the wrong notions. And that is possible only by teaching. So therefore, step by step, the Upanishad presents and declares it and slowly presents the truth. It's not declaring the truth just like that. So therefore, Anyantara Atma Pranamayaha. So Pranamayaha, that statement refutes the earlier statement. The body is not Atma, Pranamaya is Atma. Then again the next statement, Anyantara Atma Manomayaha. The same student is told, Anyantara Atma Manomayaha. Compared to the Pranamaya, there is another Atma, and that is Antaha, which is Manomayaha. Antaha means not, it is closer but not physically closer, because nothing can be closer to Atma. If anything is closer to Atma, then Atma must be limited. Everything is, everything is, it is as the same distance from Atma. What is the distance? The infinite. Annamaya Kosha and the Anandamaya Kosha. It is not Annamaya Kosha, it has to be peeled and then you arrive at Pranamaya, that has to be peeled and then Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya, and Anandamaya is closer to Atma. It is not like that. The distance between Atma and Annamaya is same as the distance between Atma and Anandamaya. The distance is infinite, because all these are Nama Rupa. Nama Rupas are Mithya. They are Anatma. They are finite. So anything you add to the infinite, it just remains infinite. And anything you minus from the infinite, it continues to be infinite. So there is no closeness to the infinite. So nothing can be closer, nothing can be away from Atma. If you remember, Hiranmaya Pare Koshe in the Mundaka Upanishad, that Kosha is called, Vijnanamaya Kosha is called Hiranmaya, it is figuratively, because it is Upalabdhi Sthanatva, therefore Hiranmaya Kosha, Pare Koshe, Pare, the meaning is Pare is close. It is not physically close. Nothing can be physically close or physically away. Because Atma is everything. So what can be closer to Atma? If you say closer, all these are important to be noted because there are views, there are people. In fact, some Vedantins, they think all these kosha have to be removed so that you transcend all these kosha and then like the peeling the onion and then you get the Atma. It is not all these koshas are as as mithya as any other thing. Anandamaya kosha is as mithya as Annamaya kosha. So therefore, there is no distance. That's why Anyaha Antaha. Antaha is interior. Interior is it is because we do vichara. Therefore, we say interior. It is subtle. So subtlety is involved in terms of that. Starting from the grossest to the subtlest. So in that sense, it is interior. So that which is subtler is as the same distance as the grossest. So it is same because Atma is never untouched. Atma is never touched. Atma is never touched by anything. It remains as it is. So Atma is Purnam. If you add to Purnam, it remains Purnam. If you remove from Purnam, it is Purnameva. Purnat Purnam Avashishyate. Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Avashishyate. Atma being Purnam. Therefore, it remains untouched by any Upadhi, any Mithya Upadhi. Therefore, Anyaha Antaha, when we say that Antaha, the meaning is to be understood. It is the it is the mind of the students which penetrates through the notion of the koshas that in terms of the the grossest to the subtlest. So that is the viveka. So Anyontara Atma Manomaya. That statement refutes Anyontara Atma Pranamaya. Anyontara Atma Vijnanamaya. That statement refutes Anyontara Atma Manomaya. Anyontara Atma Anandamaya. That refutes Anyontara Atma Vijnanamaya. Iti. Every successive statement refutes the previous statement. Therefore, Annamayaha, Atma Annamayaha iti, that the Upanishad started, but it doesn't end with that. Upasamhara is different. So, therefore, the Upanishad finally points out that Atma is subtler than the knower, the Vijnata, Vijnanamaya Kosha, doer, Karta, subtler than the experience of happiness, Bhokta, the Bhokta Sharir, Anandamaya Kosha. Anandamaya Kosha, Kosha Achadakat Anandamaya. That is where the experience of happiness. That experience of happiness, as an experience of happiness, you are Bhokta. That Bhokta is considered to be a Kosha. So therefore, Anandamaya Kosha, that is Atma, but that is also is not Atma. That is also is not Atma, because that Ananda, the Priya, Moda, Pramoda, the 3 degrees of Ananda, what we have, that is also not Atma. Atma is Ananda Swarupa. It is. The Atma is the nature of the very happiness, not happy being. You are a happy being means you are happy, but you are not continuously to be happy. You are not continuously happy. The happiness comes and happiness goes. Every happiness is a qualified happiness. But what about the Ananda? That is why we use the word Ananda, not Sukham. That Ananda, that is a Swarupa. It is unqualified happiness. That's why Ananda, the word we use. Translated as bliss. Because to show that it is not the Vyavaharika Sukham, Vyavaharika happiness, because in moments of happiness, you are free from the sense of limitation. Therefore, we may mistake that to be Atma. Therefore, that is also transcendent. That is also That notion also dismissed, not Anandamaya Kosha. Then what is Atma? Atma is, it is limitless. It is unqualified happiness. Savayesha Purusha Vidayeva Tasya Purusha Vidatam Anvayam Purusha Vidaha Tasya Priyameva Shiraha Modo Dakshina Pakshaha Pramoda Uttara Pakshaha Ananda Atma. Atma is Anandaha. Brahma Pucham Pratishta. Finally, the Upanishad concludes. That is the Upasamhara. So, therefore, Upakramopasamhara, if we take the linga, then from that we can easily see that we cannot take Annamaya to be Atma, Manumaya to be Atma, because Upakramopasamhara difference. And there is a Annamaya is the Atma. For that, you don't need Shastram is a Brahma. Shastra, because you love your body, therefore it is you. In fact, that is the notion what we are born with. I am the body, I am the Supadhi. For that, Shastram is not required. Therefore, what is the Apurvata of the Shastram? Shastram has nothing new to contribute. So, therefore, that cannot be. So, all these things have to be taken into consideration when presenting the views. And all the views, previous views, opinions, doesn't seem to take all this into account before presenting their contention. So that is what we are going to point out and say it is not correct. So therefore here, if you see all the opponents, the Purapakshi, they quote from the Shastram only, but they misquote. They quote out of the context. That is why the statements of the opponents are called Abhasa. They are Shruti only, Shruti Vakyam, but they are not consistent with the Tatparya of the Shastram. The Tatparya of the Shastram is to reveal the Atma. You will arrive at the Atma which is free from limitation. But the arguments of all these people, the schools of philosophers, they are not Shruti, they are Shruti Vakya only, but it is Shruti Abhasa. Shruti Abhasa meaning Shruti Yukti Anubhava Abhasa. Shruti Abhasa means that the Tatparya is not present. Shruti Abhasa implies the absence of the Tatparya. Absence of, that's why the quotations, the citations are fallacious. It is not correct. What about Yukti? Yukti also. Yukti seems to be logical. Yukti seems to be reasonable. But again, it is Abhasa Yukti eva. It is because it is refuted by another logic. When can you say a logic is irrefutable when it is not refuted by any other logic? The logic has to be superior that it is not refuted by any other logic. When you give a logic and I give another logic to dismiss your logic, then your logic is a weak logic. So my logic, stronger logic, overrules the weak logic. And we have seen in all these contentions, the logic, what the successive schools presented, refutes the previous logic. Therefore, it is also Yukti Abhasa, the reasonings are fallacious. Every earlier reasoning dismissed by the successive superior reasoning. So, therefore, it is Yukti Abhasa. Similarly, Anubhava Abhasa also. Anubhava is experience. So, the experience also have to be presented, and it should be presented properly and should be uniform, agreeable to all. But here the experience also are fallacious. Like for example, the Sushupti Avasthanubhava. Sushupti Avasthanubhava, it is presented differently by different schools. So Anubhava are the quoted by all these people, they are fallacious. The Sushupti Anubhava, Aham na asam, nobody can say. I was there, I experienced, but I didn't know anything. That is the experience. Nobody says I was not there. I was not there, then from where you came, you wake up. So therefore the Anubhava also has to be free from defects. It should be defect-free Anubhava. Sometimes sometimes we experience, but we think the experience, we think that we explain the experience wrongly. The Anubhava is interpreted wrongly. And that is refuted by the successive schools. Therefore, that Anubhava become Abhasa Anubhava. It is not a real Anubhava, because not able to express the Anubhava, not able to analyze and express the Anubhava properly. Therefore, it becomes, the Anubhava becomes, the experience becomes either incomplete or improper. That's what we call Abhasa, Anubhava Abhasa. Maya Sukya Nidra Anubhuyate. It's in deep sleep. That is common experience. Agam kinchit na avedisham. That is also common. I don't know anything. Agam kimapi na janami sushupti avasthayam. That is common experience. Agam na asam. Agam na asam, if you say, I was not there. Be it's an expression, but not that you were not there and it came to existence later. That is not, that Anubhava. That Anubhava is not correct one. It is fallacious, and it can be seen by the refutal of the successive contenders. Now, therefore, here, all these are all the contentions which were presented there, Abhasa. Etaihi, by these, starting from Ati Prakrita Adi Vadibihi, Vada of Ati Prakrita, starting from Ati Prakrita, Atma Putravada, starting from Shruti Yukti Anubhava Abhaseshu, with regard to the Abhasa, with regard to the Shruti Yukti Anubhava Abhaseshu. Shruti Yukti Anubhava Abhasa, Abhaseshu. Abhasa is, as I told, it is semblance. Shruti Abhasa, Yukti Abhasa, Anubhava Abhasa. False or wrong quotations, wrong Shruti quotations, wrong logic. And also Anubhava also, it is fallacious personal experience with regard to them. Purva Vukta Shruti Yukti Abhasana. Purva, that is earlier. Vukta, told. Shruti Abhasa. So whatever the arguments, the earlier contenders presented, Shruti and Yukti and Anubhava, all these are Abhasa, they are wrong. So the fallacious quoting from the Shruti, the fallacious Yukti, as well as the Anubhava made by the earlier sets of people are dismissed by Utter-Uttara Yukti Anubhava Abhasaihi, by the Utter-Uttara, by the successive. Again, there are also Abhasa, they are not real. The following successive contenders, they are also not real. Therefore, that is also Abhasa. So one Abhasa dismissing the other Abhasa. Therefore, Uttara Shruti Abhasa, Yukti Abhasa, Anubhava Abhasa, Taihi. What happens? Bhadanath, Bhada Darshanat. There is a Bhada, there's a negation. Negation of what? Atmatvam. Atmatva Bhada Darshanat. That is a Hetu. Atmatva Bhada Darshana, negation of Atma, Atmatva Bhada Darshanat. Atmatvam of the earlier ones dismissed by the previous one. The earlier ones are Abhasa, wrong, and the succeeding one also Abhasa. So we don't, Vedantin has got no job now. Therefore, the succeeding Abhasa, Shruti Yukti Anubhava Abhasa, by that, The earlier ones are all defeated. Badadarshanath, abstracted, defeated. The contradict. Bada means contradict. So the earlier ones are defeated, or the successive ones contradict the earlier ones. Therefore, the earlier ones stands defeated. Atmatra Badadarshanath. The subsequent views contradict the views of the earlier ones. Badadarshanath. Therefore, Putradina Anatmatvam Spashtam. It is clear. Therefore, Putradina with regard to Putra, etc. Atmatvam, attributing Atmatvam to that. It is wrong. Therefore, Anatma eva. Anatmatvam Spashtameva. Putradinam Anatmatvam. The status of being Atma attributed to Putra, etc. are not correct. Therefore, they are Anatma. It is Spashtam. Spashtameva. The author says. Then, the next passage, an important one, for which there's a long commentary in Vidvan Manoranjan. We will read from Subodhini later. Here the author doesn't mention the quote, doesn't mention the Shruti, but every word is from the Shruti only. By quoting the words of the Shruti, not mentioning not mentioning the Shruti, but the words itself implies a Shruti. That's why this study of Vedantasara requires a knowledge of the Upanishad. The words, the individual words in this passage refer to the Vakya, Shruti Vakya of different Upanishads. Like that, all these views are dismissed. That's what the author does. It's an important passage. Let us read. We can discuss this maybe in the next class. Let us read. Kincha
Kincha
Pratyak Astulaha
Pratyak Astulaha
Achakshuhu
Achakshuhu
Apranaha
Apranaha
Amanaha
Amanaha
Akarta
Akarta
Chaitanyam
Chaitanyam
Chinmatram
Matram
Sat Ityadi
Sat Ityadi
Prabala Shruti Virodhat
Rabala Shruti Virodat
Asya Putradi Shunya Paryantasya
Asya Putradi Shunya Paryantasya
Jadasya
Tadasya
Chaitanya Bhasyatvena
Chaitanya Bhasatyena
Ghataadivat
Ghatadivat
Anityatvat
Anityatvat
Agam Brahma iti
Aham Brahma iti
Vidvat Anubhava Prabalyacha
Vidvat Anubhava Prabalyacha
Tat Shruti Yukta Anubhava Abhasanam
Tattvat Shruti Yukta Anubhava Abhasanam
Shruti Yukti Ensandi Baditattvadapi
Paditattvatapi
Putradi Shunya Paryantam
Putradi Shunya Paryantam
Akilam Anatma Eva.
Akhilam Anatma Eva.
So every word of this passage referred to a Shruti statement, dismissing all the views, the previous views. It is enough to dismiss the last view, Bauddha's contention. By the logic, Pratama, by the syllogism we say, by the Nyaya, Pratama Malla Nyaya. The strongest one is Bauddha, who dismisses the previous contention and the previous one. So therefore, if you handle Bauddha and dismiss him, therefore all other stands dismissed. Pratama Malla Nyaya. That is we will do. But here the author shows Here the author shows all the views of others. All the other also is wrong. So we don't have to dismiss the previous one. They stand themselves defeated. Even then, the author says. So the pramanam, the author gives a pramanam to dismiss all the groups. And final, including the last one, Bauddha also. So the first one, if you see, Kincha, Pratyak, just we will read this quickly, this passage also. Kincha, moreover, Pratyak. Pratyak, what is Pratyak? Pratyak is, the word Pratyak referred to Kaschid Diraha Pratyakatvanam Aikshat Avrata Chakshuku Amrutatvam Ichan, that is a Pratyak. So it is the word from the Kathopanishad, Atma. So Pratyakatmanam, Atma is Pratyaka. So if Atma is Pratyaka, Atma cannot be Putraha. The Putra, therefore, Atma Putravada is dismissed. Atma Putravada stands dismissed. Putra by Atma. No, Atma is Pratyek. Upanishad says, Kathopanishad says. So that is dismissed. Fine. Then the other contention, Atma is this Shariram, this Deha. Atma is Degaha. Who said? First is Ati Prakritaha Muraha. He said Atma is Putraha. Then next one, the Charvaka says Savayesha Purushona Rasamayaha. This Atma is this Anna Rasamayaha, this Shariram. That is also negated by the Shruti. Astulaha, the word Astulaha referring to the Vakya of Shruti Vakya, that is Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Vakya of Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Astulam, it is Astulam, Ananvaraswam, Adirgam. Atma is Astulam. Atma is neither gross, neither anu, nor short, nor long. So therefore, if that is so, how can Atma be the Shariram? So Savayesha Purushona Rasamayaha, that Vada, that quotation what the Charvaka gave, first Charvaka, that also stands dismissed. Okay, Atma is not the body, but it could be the Indriya. Aparas Charvaka quoted, Teha Pranaha Prajapatim Pitaram Yetya Uchuhu. So therefore, Indriyas are Prana. No, that also not. How? Achakshuhu. Achakshuhu we know. Yatadadresham agrahim agotram avarnam achakshushrottram dadapanipadam. Mundakopanishad. They're much familiar. Therefore, that is Vakya Achakshuhu dismisses Indriyas. Achakshuhu is only Upalakshanam. Chakshu is not there, means Shrotra Indriya not there. All the other Indriya stands. All the other Indriyas are included. Therefore, there Atma is not any of the Indriya. Therefore, that also dismissed, that contention also, Charvaka's contention. Okay, Atma may not be Indriya, but it can be Pranamayaha, Anyantara Atma, Pranamayaha. Another Charvaka said Atma is Prana. No, that also not possible. Because the Shruti Vakya, Apranaha, that is also we know, Apranaha, Yamana, Shubraha, from Mundakopanishad only. So Atma is not Pranaha, Apranaha, Amanaha, Shubraha, we have seen. So that Vakya negates Atma is not Pranaha, Anyantara Atma, Pranamayaha. Just negating that Prana, Atma is not Prana. Even though the Taittiriya, the subsequent statement dismisses that. Here the author shows from different Shruti. Okay, Atma is not Prana. What about Atma Manomayaha? Anyaha Charvakaha said Anyantara Atma Manomayaha. No, Atma is also not Manomaya. Because there is a Shruti Vakya, Atma is Amanaha. Amanaha is Aprano Hamanaha Shubraha. That itself says Apranaha Amanaha. Atma is neither the prana nor the mind. So that Manomaya also stands dismissed. Then Anyantara Atma Vijnanamaya, who said Buddha. Vijnanamaya means Karta. Atma is the Karta. Vijnanamaya. That the Shruti, Shvetashvatara Upanishad, Akarta, Anantasya Atma Vishwarupa hi Akarta. The Akarta, the word referred to the Vakya of the Shvetashvatara Upanishad that dismisses Atma is not Vijnanamaya. So Vijnanamaya also ruled out. Then Prabhakara Tarkiko, what did they say? Anyondra Atma Anandamayaha. Anandamayaha is Ajnanam. Atma is Ajnanam. Anandamayaha. No, that is also not. Why? Because Chaitanyam, Atma is Chaitanyam. Chit. Chasti Veta Mama Chit Sadaham. Kaivalya Upanishad. Atma is Chit, Chaitanyam it is. Therefore, it is not Ajnanam. It's not Anandamaya. That is also dismissed. Then Bhatta Mata said, Prajnana Ghana Eva Anandamayaha. That is consciousness associated with ignorance. No, that also is not. Why? Because there is Shruti Vakya, Chin Matram, Chid Eva. It is Shuddha Chaitanyam, Chin Matram. It's only Chit, consciousness, not associated with, not Upagita, Ajnana Upagita Chaitanyam, into Chin Matroham Sadashiva, again from Kaivalya Upanishad. So Chin Matroham Sadashiva, iti, the Vakya, that is quoted to dismiss that Atma is not Ajnana Upagitam. Then the next one is, having dismissed all this, the final one is Uddha. What did he say? Asad eva idamagre asit. Asadyeva. For that, we have the statement that we have seen Panchadashi. Sadeva somi idamagra asit. Chandogya Akya. Tat satyam sa atma. So sat ityadi. Sadeva somya. Sat eva asit. Atma is sat. It is not shunya. Sadeva somit idamagre asit. Should take a prak. What asit? Not shunya. It is sat eva asit. Sat asit. Iti prabala shruti virodha. So all the shruti citations of the previous contenders are shruti virodha. They are contradicting the shruti. And there are a lot of other shruti vakya also. By that we can dismiss all the previous citations. Like pranasya pranaha, chakrushaha chakshuhu, shrotrasya shrotra manaso ye manaha viduhu. Iti Kedopanishad says, pranasya, it's prana of the prana, eye of the eye, ear of the ear. It means what? Sakti Chaitanya. And words cannot objectify that. Yato vacho nivartante. Therefore, it is not Indriya. So therefore, other quotations. Na vijñatehe vijñataram vijaniyaha. You cannot know that by which every knowledge is possible. Vijñatahe vijñataram. So therefore, Atma, it is Swayam Jyotihi iti. Anya Shruti Vakya Virodhat. Prabala Shruti Vakya. All these are Prabala Shruti. Very strong Shruti statements. Virodhat. Putradi Shunya Parentasya. Starting from Putra up to the Shunya Parentasya. Jadasya Chaitanya Bhasyatvena. Starting from Putra up to the Shunyavadi. They are Chaitanya Bhasyatvena. They are all illumined by Chaitanyam. They are all illumined by the Chaitanyam. Chaitanya Bhasyatvena. Jadasya Chaitanya Bhasyatvena. Ghataadivat, like the Ghata, like a pot. Like a pot. So here you can see three reasons are given to dismiss the previous views. Number one, Shruti Virodhat, Panchami. Shruti Virodhat. Number one, that is the first reason. Shruti Virodhat. Therefore, the previous citations, the views are wrong. Number two, they are Putradi Shunyasya Jadasya Chaitanya Vasatvena Gatadivat Anityatva. That is the second hetu, second reason. They are all Jada. What is Jada? Putra is Jada. Shariram is Jada. Indriyani is Jada. Prana is Jada. Manamayaha is Jada. All these are jada, jadasya. They are illumined by Chaitanyam. Chaitanya Bhasyatvena. They are all illumined by Chaitanyam, your consciousness, Chaitanyam. And therefore they are jada like what? Like gata, like a pot. Gatadivat, they are jada, therefore they are anitya. Anityatvat, they cannot be atma. That is the second reason. Gatadivat. First one is Shruti Prabala Shruti Virodhat. Number one. Second thing, Gatadivat Anityatvat. Gata is jada. How do you know Gata? Gata is jada. Without Chaitanyam, Gata cannot be known. Therefore, as Chaitanya Bhasyatvena, Gata Jnana Bhavati. Tadvat Jadasya, Shariradi, Jadasya, Chaitanya Bhasyatvena. Therefore, Anitya. They are Anitya. Anityatvat, they are not Atma. That is the second reason. And last one is Agam Brahma iti Vidvat Anubhavaha. Jnani, Anubhava. Jnaninaha Anubhuti, Atma Anubhuti, Aproksha Anubhuti, Anubhava Prabhalya. Prabhalya, strong. Anubhava Prabhalya. There are jnanis and they have the direct knowledge of Brahma. I don't want to use the word experience because it's not something to be experienced, even though Anubhava Anubhuti means experience. There is no Brahma experience. Brahma experience is there in every experience. Agam, that's why Agam Brahma iti Anubhava. Agam Brahma is not Anubhava, it is knowledge. So Anubhava means we have to understand it is knowledge, unshakable, Prabhalyat, Anubhava Prabhalyat. So the Jnanis are the Jnanis because of the vision, the clarity of the Jnanis. They have the clarity, they have the Anubhava Prabhalyat, they are the knowledgeable people. Vidvat means Jnani ityartaha. Jnana nishtaha. Because Jnana nishtas are there, they are so strongly convinced of the fact that Agamatma Brahman. That is another reason. Therefore, tatta shruti yukta anubhava abhasanam vaditvat. Because of these three, there shruti yukti anubhava, which are abhasa, which are wrong, fallacious, all these are vaditvat, stands dismissed. They are nullified. They are dismissed. They are cancelled. Vaditvat putradi-shunya paryantam akilam sarvam what? Anatma eva iti. All these are anatma eva, natu atma. So in just one passage, the author dismissed the contentions of the previous schools just by a word, not quoting in fact, not quoting even the entire Vakya, just quoting a word. From that word, we have to understand the Shruti. That is why the study of Vedantasara requires a knowledge of the Upanishads. It's not all the Upanishads, at least the main Upanishads. So Pratyak, Astulaha, Chakshuhu, here Achakshuhu, Apranaha, Amanaha, at least from Mundaka Upanishad. And Kaivalya, which we will see after Kena. So Pratyaka also Kata Upanishad. So this two Upanishad itself is also okay. So that we can understand. Pratyak is Pratyakatmanam Aikshat, referring to Kata Upanishad. Other quotations are from other Upanishad, Kaivalya and Brihadaranyaka. So all these are Prabhala Shruti Vakya. By that, the previous Abhasa Shruti Vakyas are dismissed. Bhaditatvat as well as Yukti Anubhava. Here also, first is Shruti. Second one is Gatadivat Anityatva, that is a Yukti. Third one is Anubhava, that is that way he said Vidvat Anubhava Prabhalya. Therefore, the author Shruti, Yukti, and Anubhava, by the three, all the previous contentions are dismissed. But all the previous contentions, they say their view, their idea is nothing but Anatma. The view about the Atma is Anatma. We are not talking about Anatma. Anatma is already we know. So they are not Anatma. Therefore, They are not Atma. Therefore, they should be dismissed. They should be dismissed. So therefore, it says, Putradi Shunya Paryantam Akilam Anatma. This is Viveka. It is Anatma means their views cannot be accepted. Their views cannot be the view of us. Vedanti's view of Anatma is Vedanti doesn't have separate view. The vision of the Shastra is the view of the Vedantis, whereas the views of all the other contenders, they are wrong. They themselves contradict each other. Therefore, they are Anatma eva. Their views are Anatma, not Atma. So for knowing Anatma, all these are helpful. All these ideas, all these notions are helpful. Not that one must have these notions, but all these notions, even if one doesn't have, assuming that one has such notions, going step by step, all these notions are dismissed. This is like sopana, going up the ladder. And after which, once you arrive, that is final. You have to arrive at the Vedantis view. You have to arrive at the conclusion which cannot be dismissed. That is the view of the Vedanta. So that is the author beautifully in one passage he has presented Shruti, Yukti, Anubhava by these three. All the previous contentions are dismissed. Dismissed means they are Anatma iti. The author has proved. Anatma iti spashtam eva. Then what is Atma? That is going to be said. Already Atma is discussed further. These are all the topic comes under Adhyaro. Then Apavada is going to be done. We'll stop here. We'll see the next class. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Dhanyavadaha.
धन्यवाद गुरुजी.